Good morning, guys. Kamusta po kayo? And welcome to Appleberry's Mental Health Channel's pilot episode of IRL, or in real life, Real Talk on Mental Health, where we discuss everything about your questions about mental health. All right, guys, good morning. My name is Aris, and I am the Chief Operations Officer of Four Minds. And if in observance of Self-Harm Awareness Month in this March, we at Appleberry we will be talking about essential topics surrounding self-harm. However, if this topic is upsetting or triggering to you, we suggest that you skip this video for now. And also, we would like to highlight and stress that we are not encouraging viewers to commit self-harm because we believe that talking about our mental health is normal and acceptable, and it can help remove stigma surrounding these topics as well. And para dun po sa mga interested to get free access to professional mental health support, please stay tuned until the end of this video. So we will be sharing some great news about a program that we are passionate about. So I kept mentioning about Appleberry, Appleberry Mental Health is your holistic end-to-end mental health support partner for your organization. And I'm actually from Appleberry, and our guests for today are our coaches, our mental health coaches from Appleberry. So I'm excited to introduce these guys to you, and we will be talking about self-harm like I mentioned before. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning, Coach Ben.
Good morning, Aris. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Coach Ben. Good morning, Coach Kyra.
Good morning, Aris. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well.
All right. Good morning, Coach Miko.
Good morning, Aris. Good morning, everyone. Hi.
All right. Next is Coach Mika. Good morning, Coach Mika.
Good morning, Aris. Good morning, everyone.
Right. And last but definitely not the least, Coach Ben. Good morning.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, Aris.
Yan. All right. So you've met our very amiable, very endearing mental health coaches from Appleberry. Now, we will be talking about self-harm in observance of the Self-Harm Awareness Month this March. So, right off the bat, pag-usapan natin, ano nga ba yung self-harm? Probably, Coach Ben, can you help us with this topic?
Of course. But before that, kasi professionals and lay people alike have differing views na regarding self-harm. Pero for simplicity's sake, I'd like to define self-harm as the act of intentionally harming oneself. And, it's not easy to identify people who self-harm because there are obvious signs, but there are also signs that may go unnoticed. Diba? Naisip niyo ba na even those who abuse drugs are self-harming? Diba?
Question lang, is it something na intentional? Or is it something na parang hindi iniisip ng tao na to do self-harm for us to really consider it something serious?
Yeah, and kasi in this context, I just want us to be on the same page. Of course, there are other reasons nga why people self-harm. Kasi it could be unintentional then. Now, let's say, for example, people who are suffering from learning disabilities or developmental disorders like autism. Say, even people who suffer from autism, they can also engage in self-harming behavior like headbanging, and they may do this unintentionally then. Could be their way of communicating or their way of expressing their frustration or other emotions, diba?
All right. Thank for that clarification, Coach Leno. Siguro isang misconception about self-harming is that the intention of people doing self-harm is to end their life. Is that correct?
That's definitely correct, Aris. Actually, kasi there are different reasons as to why people self-harm. And although there is an association between self-harming and suicide, their relationship is not as straightforward as one may think of. So firstly, people who tend to self-harm may do so for different reasons nga. And oftentimes, they do so not to end their lives, but to ironically feel alive. No? They want to feel alive kasi nga they feel numb. They don't feel anything emotionally and maybe even in other needs nga. So one general reason behind that is that whenever they feel overwhelmed by their emotions or any stressful life events nga, they cope in such a way that would make them feel as if they have regained control of themselves, or for example their body, kasi when they feel detached and when they feel like they're out of reality, the only way that they can do so is to inflict self-harm nga. And for some of these people, they do so through different means. No, there's no one way of doing self-harm nga.
Okay. So you mentioned about that, no? So let me just I think rephrase that na um self-harm really ang end result nito is not always to end someone's life, no. It could just be way of communicating, gaining control, being impulsive then as a result. So we've talked about that. Yung ano pa yung mga common methods why or how people commit self-harm?
Well, for educational purposes lang naman, no, I'm not really endorsing this, but for some of the common methods, there's skin cutting or body mutilation. When we see people who cut their wrists, diba? Then there's also head banging, or they hit themselves, and then some people even burn their parts of their bodies. So there are really different means now of doing this. And again, as I've said nga na there are different reasons. Kaya it's important to understand first why some people engage in self-harming behavior.
Right. Thank you for that quote, Ben. Now, for next topic naman natin, no, I'd like to understand, is it something that we can relate sa mental health condition? Ibig sabihin ba nito, only people who have mental health condition are prone to self-harm? Probably Coach Miko can help me with this topic.
All right. Thank you, Aris, and thank you, Coach Ven. No? So the question is, yung mga taong nag-engage ba sa self-harm, usually, are they people who suffer from mental health conditions? And the answer is, it's also situational. So like what Coach Ven said earlier na people who also engage in alcoholism or substance abuse, they also tend to engage in self-harm. But for most of those people who are brought in emergency and or those who are attended to by medical means will usually meet a criteria for a certain mental health disorder when assessed, no? So meaning sila yung mga taong nag-engage na and they are and na-actionan or nadala sa emergency room or like that. And then when they are tested, they show symptoms of a possible mental health disorder. So actually, it's more likely that these people who show symptoms of mental health disorders, they're more likely to engage in this self-harming tendencies. And most of the time, no, it's depression, Aris.
Okay. So it's not really just about depression. Are there any other mental health conditions that could bring about or as a factor or for people committing self-harm?
Yes, that's correct, no. So in 12 to 16 months, usually they no longer meet all the criteria for depression. Usually may nagsho-show up dyan na possible diagnosis of another mental health disorder, no. More likely, or some of the cases are having association with psychotic and phobic disorders. So meaning these are mental disorders such as schizophrenia, no? So they're losing their grasp of reality, no? So there's difficulty knowing what's real and what's not. So the act of self-harming helps ground themselves, no? Meaning may nararamdaman ako, so ito yung totoo. So it's also important to remember na we said earlier na it's not just about harming themselves, no. It's also about having the feeling, no, kasi usually some of these people they engage because they don't know what's the correct feeling during that situation. So by initiating self-harm, alam nila na pain yung dapat nararamdaman ko, 'di ba? So and aside from that, there's also a possible diagnosis of borderline personality disorder, BPD, or and histrionic disorder. So I'll go through this now one by one. So, and also we have to remember, no, this is for discussion purposes, and not necessarily meaning naman na if you engage in self-harm, you are or you have this mental health disorder. So first, BPD, borderline personality disorder. These are people who have difficulties in maintaining stable relationships, no? Sometimes they are scared of being left alone by their partners, and engaging in self-harm, it's a way for them to somehow, hindi naman sa pagpapaawa din nila ginagawa yun, no? It's a way for them to show na they can't live without that partner or that relationship. So it's their way to communicate with the other party, no? Or it's a way again for them to feel the right feeling. So that's BPD, no? Having or not being able to maintain stable relationships. And next one is histrionic disorder. So this is different from BPD in such a way na hindi naman siya sa relationships nagfo-focus. Mostly it focuses on the person itself, no? Because he or she wants the attention, no? Again, these people are in a state of disorder, so they are not really doing this intentionally. Some of them may, but let's understand that some of them may not, no? So they do this because they think it's the right thing to do, no? They don't know that kung paano i-distinguish yung difference, no? So they engage in self-harm so that in layman's term, mapansin sila, di ba? But again, aside from the mental health disorders na diniscuss ko, it's also characteristic among a certain age group, no? Statistics have shown na self-harming acts are most likely done by adolescents, no? But again, hindi naman siya exclusive to them, no? It's also because of impulsivity of the person, no? Poor problem solving and hopelessness. And also, on a final note lang, no? Let's not diagnose this person by their labels, no? Or let's not label this people na self-harming people lang sila, no? It goes beyond that, because it usually they don't do it naman because they really want to do it, no? It helps the community remove the stigma of mental health. And also, since self-harm is very taboo, no, let's look past that and really understand why they're doing this, or they're engaging in self-harm.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach Miko. Thank you for your insights, no, especially about understanding more about self-harm. Na it's not really just related to um, specific to mental health conditions, no, and also it's also situational, like you mentioned. Maraming salamat for clearing that out. And also, na-mention mo na hindi lang din siya prone to a specific age group, although it's studies or research show that adolescents, probably because of, during the time na medyo raging hormones, very emotional yung mga kabataan, one way of them acting it out or communicating it out rather is by harming themselves. So probably that's one of the reasons why it's happening. All right, maraming salamat, Coach Miko, for enlightening us. Now, we move on to another topic, no? We already have defined kung anong self-harm, what self-harm is not, and also if it's yung mga mental health conditions na pwede natin ma-relate, and non-medical or non-mental health conditions na pwede natin ma-relate sa self-harm. Now, we would like to understand more kung ano yung mga common reasons for this behavior. Bakit nagko-commit ang mga tao ng self-harm? Alright, so let me call on Coach Kyra.
Hi, Aris again. So now we're going to understand why do people engage in self-harming behavior. So there are many reasons why one inflicts self-harm. So maraming posibleng rason kung bakit. And the reason may be different each time, and the method is may not be the same also. So it may be how they try to deal with a stressful or upsetting situation that's happening now or that happened in the past. So people who self-harm report feeling empty inside. They're over understimulated. They're unable to express their feelings. They're fearful of intimate relationships and adult responsibilities. Nalulungkot sila. They're lonely. And that hindi parang nafe-feel nila, hindi sila naiintindihan ng ibang tao. So with that, self-harm may be how they cope with their feelings. Example would be their sadness, the guilt, their hopelessness. So this may be a way for them to express their feelings, especially if they find it difficult to put it into words. And these people may also want to release the pain and tension that they feel inside. So this physical pain can be a distraction from the for the emotional pain that they're in. And some also may try to self-harm to feel in control of their body, especially if they feel dissociated from themselves or their environment, and if they feel like they can't control anything else in their life. So they inflict self-harm. And some people also hurt themselves because they feel like they need to punish themselves, especially if they feel like they're not good enough. And Coach Van mentioned earlier that some do headbanging or they burn themselves or a part of their bodies. So these people may have felt numb already, like they can't express any emotions. So they inflict self-harm in order to feel something or to make them feel alive. So overall, self-harm could give someone relief from a negative mental state, but this is only temporary. Hindi siya tumatagal at hindi nawawala yung issues or emotions na nararamdaman nila. Kaya bumabalik at bumabalik yung issues or emotions na to. At, nagbe-build up siya. Kaya nagagawa ulit nila na saktan nila sarili nila. And again, we must understand that the reason and methods for inflicting self-harm may be different each time.
All right. Thanks for that, Ara. No? My key takeaway on the topic that you just shared is the behaviors or how people engage in self-harm is personal. It's very subjective. So kung paano sa tingin ng tao, no, na paano siya mag-engage in self-harm. The reasons behind that also would differ from person to person. So it's really difficult to typecast or parang ilagay natin sa isang umbrella or isang generalize natin na lahat ng tao na mag-self-harm would just be doing this behavior, right? And also you mentioned you mentioned about the self-harm or self-harming is not really the issue. It could be a symptom of a bigger and underlying concern, no, with that individual. And also you mentioned na self-harm would it's temporary. Tama ba? It's temporary.
Temporarily.
It's temporarily.
Really.
Yes, and usually impulsive. It's brought about the impulsiveness ng tao. No? So thank you for that one. Kyra, another question top of mind would be, paano natin ma-identify or paano natin ma-spot yung mga tao who are doing self-harm?
So there are warning signs. So the common warning signs according to research are unexplained frequent injuries like cuts or burns. They could have low self-esteem, having difficulty handling feelings, having relationship problems or avoiding relationships, and having poor functioning at work, school, or home. So your everyday life is disrupted. And these people would also attempt to conceal their marks, the bruises, the scars with clothing. For example, they would wear jackets or long sleeves quite often despite the hot weather because they're actually hiding their bruises due to self-harm. And if these bruises or scars are discovered, the person who self-harmed would make excuses, like they would explain that they just fell, an animal scratched them, their pet scratched them, or that they accidentally hit something or whatnot. So these are the warning signs one may need to pay attention towards anyone, or maybe you've noticed it yourself.
All right. So, these are the telltale signs, no, mga warning signs na makikita natin sa individuals. Na, especially yung very absurdo, no, like you mentioned, yung sobrang init. Diba, dito sa Pilipinas, no, at tanghaling tapat, during noontime, meron kang makikita na naka-long sleeve or sobrang naka-turtleneck just to hide these scars or yung mga wounds nila.
Yes.
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 That's actually a very good way of telling people who are committing stuff. Sige, maraming salamat, Kyra, for giving us insight about how to spot people who are doing self-harm and also understanding why people commit self-harm. Right? Now, on topic naman natin is for those people who are watching this, who are thinking about harming themselves, how can we support you guys? How can we help you look out for yourself? Ito naman yung mga topics na i-discuss ni Coach Mika.
Yes, so thank you, Aris, for that. So here are just some ways on how you can look out for yourself or you can look after yourself. So it can be really difficult to let go of self-harm because maybe that's how you cope, or maybe that's how you cope with the difficult feelings you have. And thinking, and you're trying to think of how you'll be able to manage yourself without the self-harming behavior. But understanding why you hurt yourself and how self-harm really makes you feel can help you make changes and find other ways to cope. So if you want to really stop or reduce your self-harm, there are ways you can do to help yourself. So you can try to see first what leads you to hurting yourself. So maybe pwede tong feeling or parang memory or a person or anything, no? And by doing this, you are able to recognize what gives you the urge to really self-harm and to take the next steps to avoid it or to reduce it or to stop it. Another thing that you can do is also to distract yourself from the urge of self-harm. So, syempre, there are different ways or different kinds of distractions for different people. But here are some examples that you can do. So maybe you can try exercising or going out for a walk. You can also listen to music. You can also write down how you feel, or maybe also taking cold showers. That could also help you. And another thing that you can do is to try to find or try to build new coping techniques or coping mechanisms, such as maybe painting, if you want to try out painting, or pwede ding writing, or spending time with your pets if you have any dogs or cats or anything there. And other techniques that can really help you express your emotions or maybe soothe yourself and release the tension that's building up inside of you. And also, lastly, of course, you can also talk to someone you trust about how you feel. So you can talk to your friends or your relatives or maybe a family member, or it's also best to also talk to a mental health practitioner as well.
All right. Thanks, Coach Mika, especially for reinforcing to people who are thinking about harming themselves that help is available. And if you feel like talking to someone with a professional help, just ask, kasi it doesn't really harm you more to ask for help, and actually mas makakatulong pa nga ito na mag-process ng iyong mga feelings and emotions. Right? Would you like to add anything, Coach Mika?
Yeah, and also if you are planning to seek for help or getting support from others, now just remember that it's also really difficult to open about self-harm, especially if you have feelings na you're worried na baka people will judge you or baka you might not be understood, no? But know that mental health professionals can really help you overcome the self-harming habit. So they can help you develop new coping techniques or strategies to stop yourself from self-harming, while at the same time, parang getting to the root of why you hurt yourself. So like what Coach Kyra mentioned earlier, na the feelings may come back again or it can resurface again and again. But that's okay. But getting support talaga from mental health practitioners can give you a safe space or to help you really explore these deep emotions and triggers and identify long-lasting solutions.
All right. Thank you, Coach Mika. So again, just a reminder for those people who are watching this, who are thinking of, harming themselves. Please seek help, professional help. Pwedeng may gusto lang kayo makausap, talk to your parents, to a loved one. And yun nga, to just share with them kung ano yung nararamdaman nyo, kung ano, what you're processing right now. And that would definitely help you move away or gear away from thoughts of harming yourself. So again, thank you, Coach Mika. Um, Lastly, what we would like to talk about, no, since we have talked about how to help for people doing having thoughts of harming themselves. Now, let's talk about how us people surrounding these people who are prone to harming themselves is how we can provide support or help to these people. Now, to help us discuss this topic, let me call on Coach Ben.
Yes, thank you, Aris. So for us, finding out that a family member or someone close to us inflicts self-harm, syempre sa una, it could be shocking or confusing, no? Pero the important thing to remember is don't judge the person because it will only make things worse. Maybe the best thing to do about it is to learn about the problem first. Know why the person is inflicting self-harm, why she does it, um, tsaka paano niya to ginagawa. So, understanding what the person is going through would help us manage our emotions and limit those judgments as well. And we also have to keep in mind to encourage communication with the person. Like we have to remind them that we are here for them. They can talk to us with whatever they want to tell us. Basically, the main thing for them to feel is our support and our love for them.
All right. Thank you, Coach Ben. No? I have a question. Say for instance, I know someone, a family member or a loved one or a friend. Tapos parang nakita ko na may mga may mga sugat sa pulse or sa wrist. Should I call it out? Is it something na dapat gawin ko, or how do I go about it?
Yes, we can call it out, but the best way to handle the situation is to confront, well, not confront, but to tell it in a non-confrontational way to the person. So, for instance, you see wounds, you can ask the person, I see that you have some injuries on your body. Do you mind telling me what you're going through? Why do you have these wounds? Things like that.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Coach Ben. And yeah, let me thank you very much, coaches, no, for enlightening us today with the topic surrounding self harm. So in summarize ko lang, no, we talked about we defined what self harm is. We debunked na ito yung mga common misconceptions about self harm. We also discussed about health conditions relating or surrounding self harm, reasons why people commit self harm, and support for that we can provide to people committing self-harm, and support to people who are actually thinking about committing self-harm. All right. Now, probably coaches, if you would like to say anything before we end this, let's start with Coach Ben.
Well, for first and foremost, I would like to thank you, everyone, for sticking with us until the end. And of course, I know self harm is a taboo topic in relation to mental health, but of course, it all boils down to all of us listening with an open mind and, of course, empathizing with all of the people around us.
Thanks, Coach Ben. Coach Miko.
All right. So again, for me, thank you. Thank you to everyone, no, for listening. But I guess let's be more open to these kinds of discussions, no, because these discussions will help these people who engage in self-harm to come out and seek for help. No, let's not be scared of talking about the problem, no, because yeah, this will continue removing the stigma on mental health and self-harm.
Thank you, Coach Miko. Next is Coach Ira.
Hello. So again, thank you for listening, and we hope that you've also learned a lot from this. Um, I would just like to say, let's not judge these people who inflicts or inflicted self harm. Everyone has their own story. or reason for doing certain things. And they need your help and support. They need our help and support. So please hear them out. Please be there for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Kyra. Coach Mika?
Yeah, so we just want to say that no matter what you're going through, it's okay to ask for help. And also, watching these videos already one step for you to seek help. And always know that us coaches here, we are really open to helping you no matter what.
All right. Thank you, Coach Mika. Lastly, Coach Ben?
Yes, so I just want to thank everyone. Thank you for watching our video, and also to remind everyone that self harm is more complicated than what we think. So it's not just simple papansin attitude lang. There are complex human emotions behind it as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Coach. And in behalf of the viewers, we would like to thank our coaches from Appleberry Mental Health for providing us insights. Maraming salamat. Thank you for your time today. And of course, we learned something from you. We learned a lot, actually. And yun nga, to thank our viewers, hope you have learned something from us today. And as promised during the start of the video, we'd also like to share our great news to our viewers. Now, if you or someone you know would like to get free access to mental health support, we at Appleberry has launched our self-care program that aims to provide a safe space for everyone who needs to process their feelings or thoughts. And if you just have any questions about mental health, you may also check us out. So to get free access, please email membersupport at appleberry.me so you can be part of our shortlist. That's membersupport at appleberry.me. Now, again, thank you very much to our viewers. Thank you very much, our mental health coaches from Appleberry. Now, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon to get notified every time we have a new video. So, also, if we'd love to hear what you think. No, so tell us, guys, what you think. Comment your feedback and your questions below, and we'll get right back to you. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I hope you did because I did, and our coaches did. Give us a like, and if you didn't, kung ayaw nyo sa amin, okay lang. Di ba? Let us know as well. So, see you next time for our next episode of IRL and or in real life. Take care. Bye, everyone. All right.
Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye.